Continuing, we have more semifinal action in the Battle of Los Angeles as we see Cameron Grimes going up against the current North American champion, Daniel Bryan. Coming out to the ring first is the man that we saw have a very interesting and bizarre demeanor on night one in his first matchup against Buddy Murphy. Incredibly advancing in that contest was Cameron Grimes, staple of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, having some of the best matchups that I personally have ever seen in my life in the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla ring, particularly against Speedball Mike Bailey. Now looking to make his presence known in Universe mode, having not quite amassed the same degree of success in Universe mode. However, being known for his accomplishments throughout the world, if he can become successful against the American Dragon here tonight, he will advance on to potentially be the first ever Universe mode Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Champion. That would be an incredible feather in the proverbial cap of Cameron Grimes. Having defeated Buddy Murphy on night one is already an incredible accomplishment for Cameron Grimes to have stated. However, he is going up against one of the best in the world, and he has proven that on many occasions, being the current NXT North American Champion in Universe mode. We saw Daniel Bryan's victory on night one, successful over the man that we saw in our previous contest, El Generico, and advancing on in the Battle of Los Angeles as the current NXT North American Champion. He is the second man to ever hold that championship in Universe mode, following Drew Gulak's impressive 224-day championship reign, in which he took on so many different varieties of competitors, including one of Bryan Danielson's best friends, Brian Kendrick, as well as a great range of different styles like Ray Phoenix as well. Daniel Bryan was eventually the one who was able to muscle that championship away from Drew Gulak and hold it with pride ever since. Daniel Bryan, however, looking to add another championship to his collection here, though he's going to have to get past the Carolina Caveman Snap German Suplex, immediately starting off this contest at a breakneck pace. Quick start to this contest already as we see Daniel Bryan taking down Cameron Grimes with that grounded shoulder takedown. Series of strikes from Daniel Bryan countered by Cameron Grimes. Now series of strikes from Cameron Grimes. Multiple forearm strikes to the face as we see Grimes rebounding Daniel Bryan off of the ropes, looking for that pump kick. However, it's countered and sidestepped by Daniel Bryan in position for that bridging German suplex. Kick to a grounded Cameron Grimes, as the aggression and viciousness of Daniel Bryan ever since winning that championship has been on quite a display. Very new side of Daniel Bryan that we have seen since capturing that championship. Drop kick from Daniel Bryan now. Grounded Cameron Grimes for the time being as we see the seated kick to the back from Daniel Bryan. Once again going after that shoulder and that arm that he isolated in the early goings of this contest against Cameron Grimes. Hurricane Rana takedown sends Cameron Grimes folding him up against the ropes. Daniel Bryan doing a good job at working on the arms of Cameron Grimes. However, it's well documented that the strength of Cameron Grimes for the most part comes from those tree trunk-like legs. Hurricane Rana takedown once again from Daniel Bryan, perhaps just biding his time and calculating his assault before going into it to avoid any missteps. Cameron Grimes now with a standing backflip as he sends Daniel Bryan to the outside. Perhaps showing that what Daniel Bryan has done to him so far has not been enough to put him down. Diving crossbody from the top rope to the outside from Cameron Grimes. A series of grounded kicks. Cameron Grimes going to look to get this action back to the inside. However, now bashing the face of Daniel Bryan off of that apron for the drop kick. However, is countered by Cameron Grimes, tripping out the legs. Standing moonsault now. Tremendous kick to the face of Daniel Bryan on the outside. A series of strikes from Cameron Grimes have taken down Daniel Bryan. Back suplex countered from Daniel Bryan, flipping out of it, and catches Cameron Grimes with that drop kick on the outside. Referee continuing to count away. Daniel Bryan sending Cameron Grimes back to the inside, but underneath the bottom rope. Strike to the chest and a kick to the face. Returning this action back to the inside does the American Dragon. As we see him locking him in a front chancery, dropping him with a pendulum backbreaker across the knee. Now Daniel Bryan once again wrenching down on that arm, twisting and driving that shoulder into the canvas. Daniel Bryan here going to look to get Cameron Grimes back up to his feet. Irish whip reversal. Now Cameron Grimes with the strength. Heel toss to Daniel Bryan sends Bryan across the ring. Impressive strength from Cameron Grimes as now he looks to send Daniel Bryan face first into the turnbuckle pad, repeatedly smashing the face into the buckle. Daniel Bryan looking to answer back with a drop kick, however still mildly disoriented from those strikes into the buckle. European uppercut now. Cameron Grimes rebounding off of the ropes and drops him down with a back suplex. Pinfall attempt here from Daniel Bryan, but only a count of 2. Now with the key lock, we see Daniel Bryan wrenching in on that arm from a seated position. Once again wrenching in. Daniel Bryan clearly with a game plan in mind tonight for this encounter with Cameron Grimes, continuously going after the arms and shoulders of Cameron Grimes. Daniel Bryan now looking to get back up to the apron, coming across to meet Cameron Grimes, but Grimes too quick to evade it, drops him down with the back suplex, dropping the spine of Daniel Bryan right across that apron. Drop kick from Cameron Grimes that sends Daniel Bryan into the apron one more time. I see Grimes with the one, positioning Daniel Bryan on the apron, up and down. Catches him with that jumping knee strike to follow it up. Now the momentum has shifted in favor of Cameron Grimes here for the time being. Counter, however, from Daniel Bryan, and a huge head kick. Irish whip from Daniel Bryan sends Cameron Grimes into the corner post. Standing switch from Cameron Grimes, but catching the leg coming in was Daniel Bryan, looking for the kick again. Countered by Grimes now. Irish whip from Grimes that sends Daniel Bryan off of the ropes. Pump kick that takes him down. Looking to take the advantage from the ground, however, shoving him off was Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan again gonna look to go after that left shoulder. Stomp to the arm on an already damaged left arm of Cameron Grimes for that running drop kick in the corner. However, Cameron Grimes able to escape out of it. Going to look for the small package driver to Daniel Bryan, folding him up and crunching him up right in the middle of the ring, looking for the pinfall attempt here. 1, 2, and no, Daniel Bryan getting the shoulder up despite Cameron Grimes' best efforts. Now we see Grimes going to look to get a running start here as he takes a step back, looking for the cave-in to Daniel Bryan, leaping double foot stomps. Pinfall attempt here on the American Dragon, and no, just barely getting the shoulder up was Daniel Bryan at the count of 2. Cameron Grimes questioning the referee's discretion there. but going to continue on the fight. Gut wrench, suplex to Daniel Bryan. Able to muscle him up. Grimes now with a boot to the chest. Countered by Daniel Bryan. Running elbow drop from Daniel Bryan. Clothesline takedown now from Cameron Grimes that sends Daniel Bryan to the outside. Series of reversals on the outside now. We see the referee counting along with Daniel Bryan as he goes for those grounded strikes to the chest. And one to the face. Bryan now sends Cameron Grimes into that guardrail. Bryan gonna go to the top rope, diving down onto Cameron Grimes, but Cameron Grimes catches him in midair, answering out of that strike. Now both men gonna return to the inside of the ring here. Daniel Bryan quickly answering back with Cameron Grimes, who was gloating and displaying his strength. Daniel Bryan catches him coming off of the turnbuckle with that body splash. Following it up here with that Tiger suplex that he turned into a bridging German with the waistlock advantage for the pinfall. Stomp to the left arm once again. Continuously going back to that left arm after a variety of different maneuvers. Now we see the front chancery being locked in from Daniel Bryan, doing what it takes to potentially put away Cameron Grimes with a submission maneuver, but relinquishing the hold in favor of ascending to the top rope here does the American Dragon, who is calling Cameron Grimes back up to his feet here. Could potentially be looking for that diving front dropkick. No, going for a Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Taking Cameron Grimes up, turning him inside out with that tremendous Hurricane Rana. Now looking to go inside out with that butterfly suplex, but Cameron Grimes with a tremendous reversal into an arm drag. Able to shift the pressure and momentum. Now looking for the pinfall attempt here, but he had his feet on the bottom, or on the middle rope. Referee not quite in view. Sends Daniel Bryan to the turnbuckle pad, following it up with that running knee strike. Now Cameron Grimes going to drop down and choke the life out of Daniel Bryan here. Series of grounded strikes with a wrist lock advantage, and now following it up with a basement forearm strike is Cameron Grimes. Carolina Caveman now looking for a cutter opportunity. Daniel Bryan shoving him off and turning it into an Irish whip into the turnbuckle pad. Daniel Bryan now positioning Cameron Grimes on that top rope. Backhand chop. Now getting the fans fired up for whatever he has in mind here. Cameron Grimes, however, with a boot to the face, able to counter out of it. Picking him up, power slam, turns him inside out. Swinging power slam. Pinfall attempt there, but once again, Daniel Bryan getting the shoulder up. Cameron Grimes visibly fatigued. Grimes going to muscle Daniel Bryan up one more time. Deadlift powerbomb. I mentioned Grimes visibly frustrated at the fact that Daniel Bryan will not stay down. However, Daniel, this might do the trick if he can nail these knee strikes and incapacitate Daniel Bryan in doing so. Busting open the face of Daniel Bryan with one of those knee strikes. Now going to look to lock in the Indian Deathlock, wrenching in on this hold. Daniel Bryan electing to go after the arms of Cameron Grimes throughout this contest. Therefore, Cameron Grimes utilizing his legs to his advantage for his offense. Once again going after the legs of Daniel Bryan here. His foot draped across the ankle, dropping the knee across Daniel Bryan's entire leg. Picks him up in position, going to look for the small package driver, cradling in the legs again now to look for the pinfall attempt here. Daniel Bryan kicks out. Very wise of Cameron Grimes to trap the legs there to avoid the rope break. Second pinfall attempt out of desperation from Cameron Grimes. Grimes could be looking once more for the cave-in, diving double foot stomp. Sidestep by Daniel Bryan, however. Kick to the face, though, from Cameron Grimes before Daniel Bryan was able to recover. We see Grimes slap to the face of Daniel Bryan. Looked to be coming in for a running strike, but just disrespecting the legend of the American Dragon. Stomps to the chest. Another basement forearm strike from Cameron Grimes here. He looks to rebound from that missed opportunity on the cave-in diving foot stomp. Back up to his feet here. Cameron Grimes looking to send Daniel Bryan to the turnbuckle pad, looking for that jumping knee, but once again coming up unsuccessful. Daniel Bryan tosses him up into the air and in position, center of the ring, locking in the label lock and applying the pressure. Cameron Grimes with no choice but to tap out. Fans chanting, "This is awesome," at the conclusion of that contest, showing their respect for both of these men, what both of these men put themselves through. However, despite Cameron Grimes' best efforts, despite beating Buddy Murphy on night one, and despite these small package drivers and the cave-in double foot stomp that we saw right there, despite all that, Cameron Grimes having a very difficult time surpassing Daniel Bryan in this contest due to the difficulty, the tenacity, and the endurance of the American Dragon. With that, Daniel Bryan becoming the second man to move on into his block final contest. We have one more participant to determine, and that will be determined right here in our final semi-final contest of the Battle of Los Angeles. Introducing first is a man that we saw on night one compete against Joey Janela, and due to a surprising interference by Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley to some, causing the distraction, allowed Hijo del Vikingo to advance on in the Battle of Los Angeles with a victory over Joey Janela, and showing his high-risk capabilities in that matchup. He's going to have to bring a similar breed of style tonight if he's going to want to take down the Bruiserweight. Coming out next is the current Ring of Honor Pure Champion. In terms of universe mode, for our necessities, that essentially means the Openweight Championship. Pete Dunne having captured that championship from Kurt Angle. And Pete Dunne, no stranger to champion success, one of the couple of champions that we have still remaining in the Battle of Los Angeles tournament. But Vikingo looking to dive down from the top rope to catch Pete Dunne during his entrance, but look to catch him with that Hurricane Rana from the top rope, looking to get the jump start. Head scissors takedown now from Vikingo with a quick recovery despite the spill to the outside. Excuse me as we get started in this contest. Vikingo, forearm strike to Pete Dunne, catches him on the outside, slingshot DDT onto the apron. Vikingo really bringing it to Pete Dunne here tonight, going to look to get a running start. Tope twisting plancha to Pete Dunne. Vikingo is fired up here as he takes on the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. As I mentioned, Vikingo granted access to this contest via the interference of Jon Moxley in their last matchup. Pete Dunne now sending Vikingo face first into that ring post. Face first once again into that ring post, following it up with another strike. Boot to the gut, rake to the eyes from Vikingo, creating the separation. Head scissors takedown of Pete Dunne. Flips inside out, takes him down with a clothesline. Incredible athleticism on display from Pete Dunne as well. Pete Dunne, suplex position, turning him inside out, wrenching in on the arm now of Vikingo on the outside. Vikingo desperately trying to escape out of this maneuver. Pete Dunne continuing to apply the pressure and wrench in on this hold, twisting back on the arm. As the referee continuing to count away on these two men on the outside. This matchup has officially started, as both men have entered the confines of the ring. The clock is ticking away. Pete Dunne with a victory on night one over Scotty Davis to advance on in the tournament. Haven't had a chance to mention that as of yet. Sending him off of the ropes and catching him with a Hurricane Rana is Vikingo, who goes up to the second rope now, ascends up. Pete Dunne recovering slowly here as Vikingo looks to catch him with a boot off of the middle rope. Catches him successfully diving down. Arm drag takedown. Turns him inside out, looking for that Irish whip. Didn't know which way he was going, but he brought him back for that back elbow, and now Pete Dunne answers back with that bicycle kick. As I mentioned, Pete Dunne, no stranger to championship gold throughout Universe Mode, having been the longest reigning Triple Crown champion in history, having held that championship on 2 occasions. As we see Vikingo looking for that springboard twisting crossbody. Unsuccessful on that exchange. Pete Dunne now with a power slam attempt, but it's countered by Vikingo, who shoves him off. Now perhaps going to look for the springboard inverted poison Rana to Pete Dunne. Rewind Rana, turning Pete Dunne inside out and spiking him right on the back of the neck. Seated position here from Vikingo, catches him with that drop kick. Now quickly ascending to the top rope is Vikingo, diving down with a huge elbow drop. A bit unorthodox for Vikingo, as I expected. Something a bit more spectacular, but it got the trick done. Went for the pinfall attempt, but only a count of 1. Pete Dunne also, throughout his Triple Crown Championship, having accumulated the the Raw World Heavyweight Championship from Aleister Black last year at Hell in a Cell. He lost that championship back to Aleister Black before going on a several-month hiatus. Springboard lion salt there from Vikingo. Might have overshot the landing just a little bit. Rewind Rana again from Vikingo. Just plants Pete Dunne on the canvas. Going back to the well there. Double jump off of the ropes. Hurricane Rana takedown. Incredible high-risk, high-octane offense that we have seen in this contest from Vikingo, which is something that we are not really strangers to, as we saw him on night 1 in his contest compete against Joey Janela, put on a tremendous display of athleticism. Now wrenching in on this grounded headlock is Pete Dunne. Reversing the pressure is Vikingo. Trouble in paradise. Twisting high kick. Vikingo ascertaining the advantage over Pete Dunne. Perhaps was going to look for a planche to the outside, but Pete Dunne quick to recover. Vikingo looks to come into the turnbuckle pad. Pete Dunne sidestepped. And Dunne going to drag Vikingo back into the middle of the ring. Series of strikes and a basement forearm smash that we saw being utilized in our last matchup. Pinfall attempt there. Kick out from Vikingo, however. Seated position and a strike to the face. Kick to the back to follow it up from Pete Dunne. For yet another strike, but now it's Vikingo who escapes out of it, turns it quickly into a triangle choke, a maneuver that we're typically used to seeing from Pete Dunne. Dunne fights out of it with a series of strikes to the face. Boot to the gut, and gonna follow it up with a quick sit-out powerbomb. Dropping Hijo del Vikingo with such velocity. Now turns him inside out. Could be looking for the kneeling tombstone pile driver. Kick to the head, however. Vikingo able to recover. Drop salt as he gets back up to his feet here. Vikingo now going to look to go into the corner here. Quickly catching his breath after everything that Pete Dunne has thrown at him just now. Tilt-a-whirl head scissors from Vikingo. Is Vikingo now going to look to take Pete Dunne off of the apron? Pete Dunne answering back with one of his patented forearm smashes. Kick to the gut, going to turn him into a suplex powerbomb. Thought he'd be going for the X-plex there, but turns it inside out into a powerbomb attempt. Again bringing Vikingo down with that velocity. Again wrenching down on that arm of Vikingo. Stomp to the face now from Pete Dunne. It's done. Muscling Vikingo back up to his feet here. Deadlift powerbomb. Once again Vikingo getting the shoulder back up. You see Pete Dunne now calling Vikingo back up to his feet here. Going to look for a forearm smash to the face, but it's countered by a strike to the gut from Vikingo. Now wrenching in on that wrist. Going to walk with Pete Dunne all the way over to the turnbuckle pad, twisting. Huge arm drag from the top rope. Vikingo now calling him back, calling Pete Dunne back up to his feet here. Looking for the head scissors takedown one more time. Given the separation, look to get a running start. Arm wrench takedown. Drop toe hold from Pete Dunne. Irish whip now from Pete Dunne. Sends Vikingo into the corner. Running insecurity, coming in with a great deal of velocity again. This time it's Pete Dunne who is electing to utilize the triangle choke to his benefit. Trying to wrench in the pressure. Compressing the legs around the neck of Hijo del Vikingo. Both men looking to put the other away in this contest to advance on. Vikingo muscling Pete Dunne up surprisingly for that powerbomb. Vikingo now looking to take the advantage. Fireman's carry, dropping him down with that front slam. In position perhaps for a dive. He's going to look to go to the top rope here. Turning inside out. Phoenix splash from Hijo del Vikingo. Pinfall attempt here and a kick out at the count of 2. Disbelief. Vikingo thought he had put away Pete Dunne. Vikingo now getting Pete Dunne back up to his feet here, sending him into the turnbuckle pad. I'm going to send Pete Dunne to the top rope, positioning him on that turnbuckle. Gonna follow him up there as now we see Vikingo in position. Electric chair position. What could you be looking for here? Turning it inside out. Hurricane Rana from the top rope. Vikingo now springing back up to the top rope. Inverted Phoenix Splash coming down on Pete Dunne. Vikingo, however, seemingly not done with his efforts. He is going to call Pete Dunne back up to his feet here following that inverted Phoenix Splash. Looking for the Dragon Rana, but Pete Dunne answers out of a powerbomb from Vikingo. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. I thought Vikingo would be going for the running Dragon Rana, as he is now. Running Dragon Rana takes down Pete Dunne. Pinfall attempt here. Referee's down. 1, 2, and no! Pete Dunne gets the shoulder up. Just at the last second, the first running Dragon Rana was countered by Pete Dunne, but then Vikingo able to reverse the pressure into a powerbomb, and then finally hitting the running Dragon Rana following the inverted Phoenix Splash off of the top rope. Still not enough to put the Bruiserweight down for the 3 count, however. Vikingo following Pete Dunne into the corner here with a Gamagiri. Springing up and standing 450 splash. Pinfall attempt here from Vikingo. Kick out from Pete Dunne though. Vikingo so fatigued at this point in this matchup. Again, going to look to spring up to the top rope here. Calling Pete Dunne back up to his feet. And what could Vikingo have in mind? Diving down for Hurricane Rana. Pete Dunne turns it into a falling powerbomb. Pulling the arm of Vikingo away from the bottom rope. And at the last second, Vikingo getting the shoulder up. Tremendous powerbomb from Pete Dunne. It's Dunne now calling Vikingo back up to his feet here. Forearm smash. Turns him inside out. Bitter end. Bitter end from Pete Dunne. Looked for the pinfall attempt following that maneuver. However, Vikingo's hand was underneath the bottom rope. And that might have been all that it took to keep Vikingo in this contest for the time being, as Pete Dunne utilizing that bitter end maneuver so many times in the past to put away his foes. Now, due to that separation from the rope break, Pete Dunne having to mount a different kind of strategy here against Vikingo. Snapmare takedown into a grounded headlock now. Vikingo quickly countering out of it, able to wrench back on that hold. Forearm smashes, however, from Pete Dunne send Vikingo recovering, now sent to the outside, up and over the top rope. Pete Dunne looking to go after Vikingo on the outside. Drop salt again from Vikingo. So we see Vikingo getting back up onto the apron here. Could be looking for another one of his dives. Turning him inside out. He was going for the 045. Springboard. Imploding senton. Pete Dunne, however, able to evade that dive from the outside. Referee at a count of 8 as Pete Dunne, I believe, looking to return the action to the inside of the ring as he sends Vikingo back inside. Drops him face first on that apron. And we see locking in the single leg Boston Crab of Vikingo way too close to the bottom rope there to allow Pete Dunne to lock in that maneuver. Forearm smash turns him inside out. Pump handle. Uranagi! Turns him inside out with a bitter end. Pinfall attempt here on Vikingo, and the second bitter end from Pete Dunne. Enough to secure the victory here for the Bruiserweight and the current Ring of Honor Pure Champion. Picking up a tremendous victory over Hijo del Vikingo, a man who had a tremendous victory over Joey Janela, and tremendous showing here tonight, not to mention this being Hijo del Vikingo's Universe Mode Showcase in the Battle of Los Angeles, and he certainly did not disappoint in this matchup with Pete Dunne. There we saw tremendous powerbomb from Hijo del Vikingo, but at the end of the day, Pete Dunne coming up the successful participant in this contest and moving on to his block finals. As we move on now, we have confirmed all the positions for the block finals for the Battle of Los Angeles. We move on to another exhibition contest, this time being for the NXT World Tag Team Championship, or excuse me, World Championship.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the NXT Championship.
Introducing down to the ring first and making his debut in WWE 2K19 Universe Mode for me, personally, this just in. It is Rich Swann. Swann is here and ready to compete for that NXT World Championship that we see now. Jeff Cobb coming down to the ring, not allowing Rich Swann the jubilation and the cheers from the crowd. Rich Swann, typically one of the favorites here in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. The fans chanting all night long along with Rich Swann. However, Jeff Cobb amassing no time for such chicanery here tonight. Muscling Rich Swann up. Stalling suplex on the outside. We're seeing a different side of Jeff Cobb in recent weeks, ever since his matchup with Samoa Joe back at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. We've seen a different side of Jeff Cobb. A bit more desperate side of keeping that championship in his grasp. Overhead belly to belly now to Rich Swann, following it up with a running elbow drop on the outside. Going to continue on the attack here on Rich Swann, but Rich Swann sends Jeff Cobb to the inside. Swann now on the apron, could be looking for a springboard opportunity, coming to the inside. Springboard drop kick scouted by Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb once again. Overhead belly to belly to Rich Swann. Jeff Cobb has held that NXT World Championship for the duration of this year, ever since defeating Sanada to pick up that championship. Rich Swann calling him back up to his feet here. However, taking too long in doing so as Jeff Cobb muscles him up from a power slam into a Samoan drop. And going to follow that up with a deadlift powerbomb. Sitting out with Rich Swann with a pinfall attempt here. Very near fall already to Rich Swann. Jeff Cobb now continuing on the pressure. He's going to look to lock in the Rings of Saturn now. Tremendous hold to be wrenching in on Rich Swann. Elbow strikes from Rich Swann to create the separation out of that submission maneuver, and that is what Rich Swann needs right now. Pele kick from Rich Swann takes down Jeff Cobb. Catching him unsuspected, Cobb looked to come in with that clothesline, but he caught a boot to the face for his efforts. Rich Swann now sends Jeff Cobb across the ring and rolling thunder frog splash. Perfect position. Jeff Cobb now with the advantage, picking him up. Powerbomb turns him sideways. Irish whip sends Rich Swann to the turnbuckle pad. Countered from Rich Swann. Jawbreaker now. Here we see Rich Swann going up to the second rope. Diving down with a tremendous DDT to Jeff Cobb. Pinfall attempt here. The referee in position. Down one. Only a 1 count. Jeff Cobb. Wheelbarrow. Facebuster now from Rich Swann as he is mounting quite a bit of offense here, but completely exposing the shoulders for Jeff Cobb there. A very easy kick out in doing so. Again, going to position Cobb on those ropes. Leapfrog. Second leapfrog. And takes him down with that back elbow. Sling blade to take down Jeff Cobb once again. Rich Swann doing a pretty great job at answering back at Jeff Cobb following the early onslaught that Jeff Cobb sent his way. Back elbow now to Cobb. Rich Swann looks to send Jeff Cobb to the outside, but Cobb still on his feet. Rich Swann, however, rebounding off the ropes. Tope con hello to the outside. Fans chanting, "This is awesome" for the NXT World Championship matchup. Night 3 of the Battle of Los Angeles. One of many championship matches that we have here tonight. One of 4, I believe. As we saw earlier tonight, the IWGP World Tag Team Championships being defended. Shoulder tackle from Jeff Cobb now. The NXT Championship being defended now. And later on tonight, we see huge deadlift popping up. Rich Swann in position to catch him for that German suplex coming down. Jeff Cobb with awful intentions in mind of what he's going to do to put away Rich Swann. As I was saying, later tonight we will see the Ring of Honor Championship defended, as well as the PWG Champion determined for the first time ever in Universe Mode. Rich Swann takes down Jeff Cobb on that opportunity with a reverse DDT, following it up with a standing shooting star, standing moonsault combination. Here we see Rich Swann ascending to the top rope, going to look for a tremendous diving 630 onto Jeff Cobb. Rich Swann now rebounding Jeff Cobb off of the ropes. Hip toss takedown. Going to follow it up with a knee strike to the face. Springing over, and now we see Rich Swann. Springboard 450. Continuing on this onslaught on Jeff Cobb. Pinfall attempt here. 2, and no. Getting a bit closer to taking home that NXT World Championship. However, Jeff Cobb far too resilient to be put down by such means. We see Cobb, gut wrench, powerbomb position. Plants Rich Swann in the center of the canvas. Irish whip now sends Rich Swann into the turnbuckle. He's going to turn him inside out. Turns him around, rather. Continuous European uppercuts now from Jeff Cobb. Sends Rich Swann across the ring, catches him with another European uppercut. And another European uppercut. Rebounding off of the ropes, catching him with a massive drop kick. Pop up. German suplex from Jeff Cobb, able to manipulate the weight of Rich Swann so easily. Now going to look for the pinfall attempt here. Very near fall from Rich Swann, still getting the shoulder up, however. Jeff Cobb having a chat with the referee. Jeff Cobb could have been positioning Rich Swann for the tour of the aisles there, but now we see Rich Swann, tremendous power, able to muscle up Jeff Cobb for that package pile driver position. Now we see Rich Swann from the top, going to look to dive down, but Jeff Cobb too far away. Irish whip now. Looking for that spinning heel kick, but Jeff Cobb catches him with a tremendous power bomb. Caught in the act, and now Jeff Cobb going to muscle up Rich Swann for that back suplex. Stomp to the face to follow it up. Now Jeff Cobb looking for the last chancery. Front face lock here. Wrenching in on this hold. Rich Swann can see the ropes, but he can't reach the ropes. Desperately trying to fight on, trying to keep his hope alive to still walk out of here with the NXT Championship. There it is, the separation that he needed, the strike to the face of Jeff Cobb. Series of strikes answers back from Jeff Cobb. Overhand chop, looking for that overhead belly to belly to follow it up, but it's countered by Rich Swann, who takes him down with the momentum. Forearm strike now to Cobb. Boot to the gut. Powerbomb, turns him inside out. Turns him sideways, rather. Yet another overhead belly to belly, sending Rich Swann across the ring. German suplex to Rich Swann. The real human suplex machine is live here tonight with Jeff Cobb. Back suplex to follow it up, just deadlifting Rich Swann. Pinfall attempt, but again kicked out by Rich Swann. Standing moonsault from Jeff Cobb. Here we see Cobb once again going to look to lock in the Rings of Saturn submission hold, wrenching in and applying this pressure. Trying to contort the body of Rich Swann in any way that he can. He'll force Rich Swann to give in here. A series of back elbows cause the separation for Rich Swann. Running drop kick now. Now we see a tremendous Canadian destroyer from Rich Swann, front flipping pile driver. As Rich Swann going up to the top rope now, looking for the corkscrew shooting star. Not typically used to seeing that from Rich Swann, however, Jeff Cobb with him up on the top, or up in the power slam, going to run him into the turnbuckle pad and take him out with an Oklahoma Stampede. Pinfall attempt now from Jeff Cobb. Kick out just barely from Rich Swann once again. Here we see Jeff Cobb muscling up Rich Swann. Deadlift powerbomb. Tremendous deadlift. Again, maneuvering the weight of Rich Swann with such ease. Pinfall attempt just barely kicked out by Rich Swann. Rich Swann still fighting on. Still trying to leave here with the championship if he can do so. Now Jeff Cobb turning Rich Swann inside out with the Tour of the Islands. Pinfall attempt here from the NXT World Champion, and at that point it is academic. Jeff Cobb utilizing the Tour of the Islands finally to put away Rich Swann in this contest and walk away with the NXT Championship still in his possession. Great showing from Rich Swann in his debut for Universe Mode. However, Jeff Cobb just too big of an obstacle to take down here tonight. Too hyper-focused. And coming into this matchup also having attacked Rich Swann preliminary to the contest. There you heard the announcement. Still your NXT World Champion, Jeff Cobb, as we continue on with more action. The Battle of Los Angeles Night 3